sometimes it can seem overwhelming if you try to see, hey, how do I become this great big salesperson or something? You don't, a great salesperson is just a person who can listen. They have conversations with the customer and they listen. So I want to pause before I go into the questions and say, and talk to you about the customer decision-making process. And this is a general question, customer, right? But I want you to think about the federal acquisition lifecycle as I go along with it, because the federal acquisition lifecycle, it goes from idea to award, basically, and that's a very formal process. What I'm going to talk to you about is more of a sales-focused way of looking at it. A contracting officer would have a hard time looking at what I'm saying and see it because they only see the steps of a process that the FAR has defined or whatever. But from a sales perspective, the customer decision-making process is made up of 6 steps. So it begins with, it could actually begin anywhere on these, but let's just say for today, it begins with the recognition of needs. And I'm going to go in and explore how do you uncover those needs, right? But the idea is it begins with the recognition of needs. Once you get a customer to understand that they have problems, pain points, they have needs, then they go into this evaluation of options phase. And I'm going to come back in a second and align it to the federal. But they begin to evaluate options. It's like, okay, I recognize I got needs. What are the options I have available in front of me? As you move forward through that phase and the buyer is moving through that phase, they begin to have resolution of concerns. And concerns might be, maybe I can't afford it. Is it really going to be the right solution for me? They recognize that they've got the need. They're exploring these options, and now they've got objections or concerns. And so they're resolving their concerns about those. In the federal space, it tends to be a little bit more along the lines of risk. For example, should we go large? Should we go small? Things like that. And then the 4th step in this process of the decision-making process is where they actually make the decision. So they did recognition of needs, evaluation of the options, resolution of concerns, and then decision. This 5th step is implementation. So decision is that award, implementation is execution in the federal market. And then what happens is there's these changes over time. And so as they have, let's say, a 5-year contract and they're moving through it, they see different things. They have new goals, they have new challenges, they have stuff they wish was in the last contract, but it's not in there, and their hands are tied because the government just does that, ties their own hands. But there's these changes over time, which is leading to step 1 again, recognition of needs. And in business development, in particular, and capture for an opportunity, you want to be in there at that point of changes that are happening and getting them to recognize the needs. That's really one of the biggest worlds that we play in. That's the whole reason we're asking questions. And that's what I want to do today, is talk to you about the questions you would ask to explore the recognition of needs step of the process for decision making, and then also explore through those changes over time, explore those because they'll lead to a lot of need that you can uncover. So that's the decision-making process.